So this actually came about last year. I was very excited to attend the last GRAE, and I guess the one before it. But when we were at Teachers College in Columbia, there was a small exhibition, and I thought, oh, what a lovely thing to be able to see the work that a small number of faculty had created. And I am new here. I've only been here for 2 years, and before that I was a museum educator for over 20 years. And so I'm really used to talking about objects, in front of them or with them. So Joni, next time we'll ask more questions about what I'm supposed to do. But I saw this as an opportunity to, as a new person in this department, after a year or two of thinking about the ways in which we might intersect with the art program, the art history program, the ACAD program here. There's so many different resources, and somehow we're all ships in the night, right? We're sort of passing each other, and occasionally we say hi, and we serve on different committees together, but we're not super, we don't intersect in really, commonly, I guess. It's not frequent that we intersect. And so I was thinking about our department and sort of how rich it is in terms of art education and arts administration and arts policy, and the fact that while we all have different areas of expertise and interest, the fact is that all of us at heart are interested primarily in making sure that the arts are accessible to a broad swath of people, that we provide education, that we provide opportunities for people to interact with work and have meaningful experiences with work. And that was the thread for me that really held this together. I didn't realize that when we opened a few weeks ago, there was an exhibition. At the time, the whole space back there was filled with faculty work from the Department of Art, which I thought was wonderful because it really it created a chance for all of us to get together and to see what professors in the visual arts were doing and what students and faculty and alumni from arts education, administration, and policy were doing. Sorry, arts administration, education, I will get it right one of these days. AAEP, right? So when I looked at the work that people submitted for this exhibition, and there was a lot of it, I was a little bit shocked and really excited at the number of people who submitted work for the exhibition. I was really excited at the ways in which the exhibition sort of were physical manifestations of the research and the work that people had done in thinking through very particular topics, right? And some people I knew and some people I didn't. So that was a really kind of an interesting way to see people through their work a little bit more. But I think for everything that you see here, there is a longer story and a process where people put together different elements and thoughts and ideas and sort of worked through them as a process. And that's really evident in a lot of different things. Dr. Diallo talked a little bit earlier about her work, which I thought was this really eloquent, beautiful, sort of three-dimensional textural thought about a particular student and her positionality as a person that she was working with. I'm not going to lie, I was super excited when Mindy Rhodes submitted her work, which I'm going to read the title because it's really long. Thanks for ceaselessly casting pearls of wisdom before unrefined swine like me, which is not how I think of you at all, quite frankly. But this notion of deconstructing a dissertation, I just thought about how wonderful that would feel to just rip it apart when it was finished. And right, this really physical sort of pulling it apart and then mashing it back together and making it into this sort of necklace. And I also have to say, I didn't realize when we got this that the stand was part of it, and I was so delighted because I thought, how the hell are we going to put that on the wall, or do we hang it from the I don't know. But I do have to say, a million props to the people here at the Urban Art Space who are perhaps the easiest people that I have ever worked with any kind of exhibition after 23 years or so of being in museums. But so, for example, we also have other works of art. I don't think Rebecca is able to be here now. She graduated with her PhD last year, and she actually submitted work that may not traditionally be sort of thought of as, works of art that would be submitted into an exhibition, but she actually did costume design for a ballet. She designed all of the costumes. She talks in her, I asked every artist to make a statement in their label about not just the work of art that's on the wall or the work of art that they submitted, but sort of about their process or what they were trying to get out of this or sort of what they thought about the work. And she talked a lot about different inspirations that went into her thinking about the ballet itself. And so if you look at the work, it's all very personal. For example, Izzy Healy actually submitted, where did she go? Quilt, there you are. I knew I saw you. Submitted a quilt that she handed in for her master's thesis. And now Izzy is a doctoral student at Penn State, so there's this really lovely connection. But these are all stories for her. And it was a collaborative quilt that she made with family members, talking about sort of their family history and their experiences. And we were able to put the book about the quilt itself. And so all of these things represent a process, they represent work, they represent time, they represent research. I want to it's going to be really hard for me to not mention everybody, but I'm going to do my best. Because when I saw these things, I was so excited because I knew the amount of work and thought that went into all of these things. And when we had this opening and the art faculty were here, I felt like the work that was here corrected a sort of a grave misunderstanding about our department, which is that we don't do creative work, right? I'll never forget the first time I ever heard somebody talk about those who can't teach. Made me want to murder someone, right? Because you're like, what are you talking about? I have to understand it upwards, backwards, forwards, around. But for me, this really showed that creative process and that the understanding and the work that really goes into, the work that really goes into research can be made real. It can be made three-dimensional, and it's just as interesting and just as provocative and just as amazing as the work that's being produced by people who teach this for a living. I did want to talk about this. Ramya did me a huge solid, and she submitted work. These are jasmine flowers. And when she was doing her dissertation, I did not know anything about her. And I had never even met her when she submitted the work. And she talked about putting jasmine flowers into a drawer to dry. And they were things that she grows at her house. Okay, I won't say anything after that. She grows them at her home and cuts them off and lets them dry in the drawer. And for her, she got really interested in new materialisms and was thinking about temporality and time passing and memories. And so these actually became a way to measure time through the memories of her home that these dried jasmine flowers evoke. And she actually did a site-specific installation, which made me squee because I've never asked anybody to do a site-specific installation, and then she was like, sure, I'll do it. And so that was very exciting. And then the last thing I wanted to say, because Dr. Savage's work is over there, and it's been in, it actually illustrated articles that were written for her research. And then Dr. Acuff actually, I think, kind of did the same thing. I think you should read it because it's really a beautiful sort of creative artist statement. But this is sort of a way, I think, of doing research with a couple of other people and creating something, maybe not with them, but with them. So everything here is part of research and part of thinking out something that's really special and really poignant to the person who was doing the work. And I am so thankful. Oh, I didn't say anything about Molly Jo Burke. Her work over there is the glass, where she's thinking about this notion of elements of things, right? So these are small components of matter made into glass. You got to look at all the titles, or all the labels, but every single thing in here was such a thrill to be able to become familiar with and know a little bit better. And the fact that everything is a little bit different. We have quilts, we have books, we have paintings, three-dimensional objects, we have video, we have virtual reality that Jessica Passini is doing research on, and my son, who's done some of the virtual reality work with her. My son is 8. He walked up to the photo of her virtual reality world, and he said, "I've been there," which was so cool. So all of this to me, I think more than anything, it was really something that I was excited about because I feel like I got to know all of the people who participated in this in a very different way, and it was something that I really appreciated and meant a lot to me. So thank you everybody who is here to look at it, but also thank you to everybody who participated because it was a really poignant and sort of wonderful way for me to experience our department both historically and now. So thank you.